Hi, everyone. Mark Cabot is here for a Jubilate Music Group Composer Spotlight. And in the spotlight on this episode, we have none other than Ruth Elaine Schram. Welcome, Ruthie, to our Composer Spotlight.
Thank you, Marcus.
Oh, listen, Ruthie, this is so much fun to have you, such a wonderful, dear friend, and a wonderful, talented composer, arranger, lyricist. And Ruthie, I remember the last time we did this was at First Baptist downtown Nashville, when we were talking about one of your new Eastern cantatas, Songs of the Passion. And it's so much fun. I wish we could be together like that again, where we were in person together. But this is the next best thing, as we know, certainly in this day and age. And so there you are in Birmingham, and I'm in Nashville. And so we're so happy to have you, Ruthie, on this segment. And so we got lots of ground to cover, so let's get right into it. And I'd like to ask first, tell us a little bit about your background. Now, where are you from, and how did you get started with writing?
Well, I was born in Pennsylvania and kind of moved around a lot as a child. I grew up elementary school years in Lafayette, Indiana. And as you know, Indiana is a great state for music. So there were lots of opportunities in the school for choirs and learning violin and all kinds of stuff. Then, of course, went to college in Pennsylvania, started off doing elementary music, teaching elementary music. But as far back as I can remember, Mark, I have always expressed myself by writing music, even when I was just a little girl. I never started writing them down until I was about 12 years old. But a few years ago, my brother sent me a little notebook that he had found in my parents' piano bench that was my little early scribblings of songs when I was a little girl. And it was so cute and so fun to see that. But it's just always been the way that I have expressed myself. And when I became a teacher, I really did not enjoy the teaching part of it. I did not want to drum into their heads what a quarter note was or where a middle C was. I wanted to write for them. So it just kind of became clear to me that teaching was not where I was meant to be. I moved to Alabama, started working for Shades Mountain Baptist Church, started writing for their children's choirs and other choirs and solos and groups and so forth. And it just kind of blossomed from there.
Boy, did it ever. Ruthie, how many total pieces do you estimate you have either published or currently in print? Just all the catalogs from all the publishers?
About 2,500.
You know, I wish I should be ringing a bell or something. I mean, that's incredible. And full disclosure, all you viewers out there in YouTube, Jubilate Music Group land, I knew Ruthie's parents and feel like a part of their family, and they're a part of our family and everything else. And so when you talk about Ruthie writing as a child, I could just see your parents, the sweetest people in the world, just lovely, lovely people. And so in any event, that's a really special picture that you give of you writing and being creative even as a child. Now, what about, and I remember when we first met, I was at Brentwood Music. This would have been in like 1990. I went to Brentwood in 89, mid 89, and then we met soon thereafter. So when was your first published piece? Wasn't it about around that time, 88, 89, 90?
That is an interesting story, because my actual first published piece was in 1985. And I had written a song for this group that I was singing in at Shades Mountain Baptist in Birmingham. And my brother, Johnny Gage, was the director of the group. He recorded it and sent it to a friend of his at Brentwood Music. And it was accepted for publication. But as it turns out, nothing ever happened with that song. But it gave me a foot in the door to talk to the editors there and ask my favorite question: what else can I be working on for you? Which is how I got songs on the Mother Goose Gospel projects and Rappin' Rabbit and Lullabies and all those early things that Brentwood was doing. The things did go into print. There were books that could be used for like Vacation Bible School and so forth. But as far as octavos, my first print octavo was published by Shawnee Press. I had written a children's musical for the children's choirs at Shades Mountain Baptist, and I sent it to Jean Ann Schaeferman. And I didn't really know I was sending it to Jean Ann Schaeferman. I just sent it to Shawnee Press. And thankfully, thank the Lord, Jean Ann was the editor there. And even though she did not publish musicals, which I really should have researched it a little further, but I didn't know that. But she read through the musical anyway, and she found this one song in the musical that was a duet between a mother and her son called When Jesus Was a Little Child. And she said, if you change this and change it from a duet between an adult and a young child and just make it a two-part treble piece, I think this would fit nicely in our catalog. So I made all the changes and edits and rearranged it so that it would work. And when she accepted that for publication, I said, what else can I be working on for you?
There you go.
But that was my first little piece that was actually sheet music, an octavo that was in print for children.
I remember those days. And of course, Jean Ann then went to Alfred and started the Alfred Sacred Catalog. And of course, now Jean Ann still works with us a lot with our editorial team and is a wonderful, of course, she published my first piece for Shawnee Press back in the day. And then Jean Ann, somewhere along the way, either you sent it to her, or this is where you can tell us the story of When Will the Little King Come, that in 1990 you wrote for Alfred Sacred. Tell us about that piece, because it's still in print and still selling like so much of your things.
Oh, thank you. Well, let me back up to when I asked Jean Ann, what else can I be working on for you? And she said, well, I could use a two-part piece for Advent. And I, having been raised Baptist, said, what's Advent? And she said to me, that is the period before Christmas when we call the king to come to us. So I wrote a song, Come to Us, Little King. And that began my exploration of the Advent season. And I have absolutely fallen in love with Advent and Lent. I love writing for those seasons, but I had never really been exposed to them as a Baptist, but now I cherish them, and I love the music that I write for those seasons. But anyway, so when she moved to Alfred and began the Sacred Catalog there and asked me for an Advent piece, now I know what it is. So I just began exploring. It is really difficult, really challenging to pretend you don't know what you do know. We know where Jesus came, when Jesus came, who his mother was, who his stepfather was. We know the whole beautiful story. And it's really hard to try to imagine what it would be like looking forward to the birth of this long promised, long awaited Messiah, but not know anything about the circumstances around which he would be born. So I just tried to put myself in that situation and thought, if I didn't know when he was coming, how would I think about this? What would my wonderings, my musings be? Would I think, what if he came in the springtime when the flowers are blossoming? What if he came in the summertime when children are outside playing? What if he came during the autumn when the leaves are turning to red and gold? And so I just explored that through this song and just tried to paint a picture of the different ways that someone 3,000 years ago might have imagined that it might have been like when the Savior does come.
Wow. Well, it surely did work with you, because over 30 years later, When Will the Little King Come is still in print. And it's such a beautiful piece, and our viewers can go check it out. We'll make sure the link is below in the show more area of this video, where you can go click right on and hear When Will the Little King Come, and other pieces of Ruthie's that you can hear. We'll make sure her bio page is listed where you can link and just explore her rich catalog. Ruthie, you have 101 active pieces in our catalog currently. And that's not only Alfred Sacred, that's the Bellwin Sacred, which we contain, and which is the old Warner Brothers publication. So you were writing for certainly Warner Brothers, and I remember those days, and the Bellwin side, and that went to Alfred. And then it came to us when Uvalde Music Group purchased Alfred Sacred, which included all of that. So a lot of your pieces are still in print, and that's a beautiful thing. And one of your newest pieces that we're currently promoting from you is We'll Welcome Him, an Advent piece. And so tell us about We'll Welcome Him.
One of the overarching goals of my career, Mark, has been to make Jesus real to people, to make the biblical characters real to people, to make the people in these stories that we think about real to people. And I often think about the Christmas story when I'm going to write an Advent piece or a Christmas piece, and just try to bring those people to life. But for this particular piece, I love to incorporate as much as I can hymns or carols in my in my works. And the hymn "Let All Mortal Flesh Keep Silence" is just a very haunting melody, and I just thought that the themes of Advent would blend very well with that. So I created this partner song, and it's almost a promise to us who are waiting for the Savior, longing for the Savior. Silence from heaven, darkness. It's a promise to us. Please send him. We will embrace him. We will welcome him.
Wow.
So,
Beautifully said. And Ruthie, not only do you write so much of the music, you write so much. I mean, you're a one-woman band, you know. I mean, music, lyrics, and of course, I know you've said other people's lyrics. You've said my lyrics many times in some of the children's musicals we've co-written. But but so much of what you've done over the years, you've done by yourself. And so, what is that process like? I mean, I hate to ask you the question that we composers and arrangers get asked a million times, which comes first, the words or the music, but so a lot of times, I know I do have a process when I write both words and music, and the words always come first, but I know as I do that, it's an evolution on both sides, music and lyrics. So tell us about your process.
it is a process, and it's a miraculous process and a beautiful process, Mark. But for me, it's always the words. And I've even done workshops about this, because there are 8 notes in the scale, but there are thousands and thousands of words. And so as I work on a lyric, work on a text, ordinarily I start with the words with very little thought to the melody. And by the time I'm finished with the words, the melody is there. It's like a gift from God to me. And I can't explain it. I can't duplicate it for you, or teach you how to do it. It's just, this is the gift God gave me, and I'm so thankful for it. But I can't describe it other than the melody is just there when I'm done with the words.
Ruthie, I have no doubt, because I've seen that, of course, in action for over 30 years, working with you and knowing you as not only a colleague, but a dear friend. And it's an honor to have you on this Composer Spotlight, truly, Ruthie, because you are an amazing individual. And let me say to the viewers that, Ruthie is not only an amazing talent, but hysterically funny, as you can tell, and that's just the half of it. But also, Ruthie, you have, and I've told you this before, but I want to say this publicly, you have been so faithful in maintaining your grasp of the market, because you love church musicians, and you write a lot for school too, I know, and you understand those markets. You've been involved in those markets. You remain so, and you stay in touch with your fans. It's choralmusic.com, right? So people can go to choralmusic.com. I've often told Ruthie too. I mean, who else but Ruthie and her brilliant husband, Scott, would have snagged that URL, 30 years ago, or however long, 15, 20, whatever. But choralmusic.com, and you can see the music of Ruth Elaine Schram. And of course, jubilantemusic.com to go to her bio page, where you can see all the things she has in print. But Ruthie, again, this has been wonderful having you. I wish we had even more time to keep exploring so much of what you have done. And I think of that little girl in Pennsylvania growing up and what you have done. And I know how proud your parents are to this day for the incredible, and oh my goodness, 2,500 pieces. That is just mind-blowing. And the fact that you've done it, and you're so great in clinics and workshops and everything. We just love seeing you on stage when you can tell us these backstories of so many of the things you've written. Ruthie, you've contributed so much to so many, truly, with your gift of music. So on behalf of all of our viewers, and certainly us at Jubilate Music Group, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And I want to say, I feel so, so, so blessed that God has allowed me to do this with my life, to do this for my life's work. There are many, many, many talented people out there, probably many more talented than me, that never got a song published. But God has just blessed me so much, put me in touch with people like you and Jean Ann and my other editors who I just love, and allowed me just the privilege of being the scribe for these songs. And I am eternally grateful to the Lord and to you and the other editors that made it possible. Thank you.
Well, beautifully said, Ruthie. Thank you, my dear. And I like to close lately these composer spotlights with a little word of encouragement to all our directors and any singers and players who are watching. What would you like to say to them as we move forward to this next Christmas season, when a lot of them will be doing We Welcome Him and a lot more Ruth Elaine Schram music? But what word would you like to give to them as we close?
Keep calm and carry on.
I love it. I love it. Perfect. Perfect. Just like a lyricist, succinct and to the point. I love it. Well, Ruthie, this has been a blast. And we say blessings to you. And we look forward to exciting more things, new compositions for you in the years to come.
Thank you, Mark.
Absolutely. And thank you for listening to this Composer Spotlight on the Jubilate Music Group YouTube channel.